Now, the Help to Buy scheme for first-time house buyers announced in the budget last October opened for applications yesterday. Economist Karl Deeter from the Irish Mortgage Brokers joins us now to explain more about the scheme. Good morning, Karl. You're very welcome. Happy New Year to you. Can you explain in layman's terms what this is and how it's supposed to operate?
Okay, so it's a scheme for people who bought a new home or self-built a new home anytime from the 19th of July last year, and it's going to last until the 31st of December 2019. And what it does is allow you to get a certain amount of money back based on taxes that you've paid in the past, okay? And it can be up to 5% of the contract price or the purchase price, whichever is lower, and it has a cap of €20,000. For people who had bought in the past, it goes up to €600,000, but then they revised that down, so now it's for properties up to a limit of €500,000. But again, you've got that cap of 20 grand being the maximum amount. But it's effectively free money for people who are buying new homes or self-building new homes. And so it's a really good thing that if you have the opportunity to get, you should go for. It opened yesterday and there was well over 100 applications in almost immediately.
Okay, it's designed to help anybody who wants to get a house. Designed to help them buy what? Given that the major problem everybody tells us is supply. Yeah. There is no supply. So help to buy what? New homes? There are no new homes to buy. Why then won't they help people to buy second-hand homes or homes that are actually available?
Yeah, that gets quickly into what I call like an economic argument of one where you're saying, look, if you want to increase supply in the market and you create a subsidy out there that is just for new homes, well, then the idea is that the subsidy will encourage the creation of new homes, as well as this thing.
It'll also make them more expensive, won't it?
There is that argument, but again, when people think about that, they say, look, more money flows towards one direction, therefore price goes up. But if the supply of the corresponding thing also increases, then you can actually not see massive price increases in that particular thing. And that doesn't matter whether you're selling apples or homes. I suppose the problem is, though, is that there's so many issues already baked into the cake. So there's some headlines out there saying, oh, Help to Buy is going to, make prices go crazy. Well, prices are already going crazy. Inflation is near zero, and if prices are going up, 10%, that's like so many times greater than the general inflation rate. There's so many issues already that I think to turn around and blame something like this as if it's the only malady in the entire system is wrong.
I don't think it's either the cause or the main issue, but it doesn't actually seem to be contributing much one way or the other, because I come back to my original point, help to buy what? They're not there. So, you can't buy stuff that isn't there. And it's not going to be there, or the market isn't going to be up to speed for at least, 3 years?
Yeah, and this obviously runs for about that time. I suppose what it is, when you're going to intervene, okay, in anything with a policy, you only have a limited set of things that you can do, and you also don't want to do it so that it's done as a mistake. And I think that what the Department of Housing have tried to do in this instance is create something that is targeted enough to direct it towards the new homes. So when you say help to buy what, there's a lot of people who might be considering building a home themselves. It's incredibly common all across Ireland for that to occur. Now, if you had someone who was, say, renting in a regional town, and they might have to live 10 miles away to live on a site that maybe a parent had given them or something else, this might be something that can allow that to occur and help it to occur, and to make a difference towards whether they'd be able to do that or not.
Is there enough of that to actually make a difference in the housing market?
Well, in recent years, almost half the new residential housing was one-off homes.
Oh, okay.
And it's not to say that that doesn't come with its own problems too. Everything does. But this will certainly mean that developers who are saying up to now, look, we've got the planning, we've got the site, but we're not going to break ground because we can't make these transactions occur, or when people book them, they come back and say, I have to cancel because I can't get the mortgage, or I have to cancel because I can't get the deposit because of certain rules in the past. If that changes, and they are now able to do that, I think you could see new supply.
Okay, so it will certainly make a big difference to those people, and they're entitled to a break as much as anybody else. Actually, Kieran Clare, I think, might be covered by that. She wants to know if the scheme works for someone who's completing a self-build through direct labour. Is it only once completed that they can apply, or once they draw down on the mortgage? Is the valuation based on the valuation that we have already submitted to the bank when we're applying for the mortgage?
In a self-build, you see, again, it depends. I mean, if you're self-build and you've bought the site or whether it was gifted to you, and quite often when people are self-building, they get the land from a relative. It will be based on whatever is the lower of the contract or the valuation. In terms of when it applies, from the 16th of July last year onwards, and it's on self-build, it's from the first drawdown of your mortgage or the first tranche, because they're usually done in a staged payment. You don't get the money all at once, you get it in bits as the construction goes.
Okay. To complete, to apply for this, it's an online application process. First-time buyers will need to upload a copy of the signed contract to purchase, as well as details of the property, purchase price, completion date for its purchase. They'll also need to provide details of the mortgage lender and the mortgage, including loan-to-value ratio. There's a whole raft of paperwork that needs to be supplied here, and also you need to have a Revenue My account as well. So these are all things that you actually need to have ready to go as you're sending this off.
Yeah, anything to do with property transactions, anything to do with mortgages or large tax subsidies, you're always going to have some paperwork. If you're a PAYE worker, you go to My Account, which is part of Revenue, and you fill out what's called a Form 12. If you're self-employed, you're already within the Revenue online service, and you do a thing called a Form 11. So you've got to be tax compliant, as does the person doing the construction, by the way. They have to be what's called a qualifying contractor. And so this is another way of ensuring that there's less black market activity as well.
Okay, you would say yes to this, but you know, as an independent advisor, would you advise somebody who wants to do this to get advice to help navigate through? Or do you think they can manage it themselves?
It's designed to be fairly idiot-proof, so like if you need help with anything, obviously I'm not going to say don't get it, but if you can't figure it out on your own...
well, just reading it through, it seemed like there was an awful lot of stuff to take on board, and if you're not familiar with that kind of stuff...
When you look at it the first time, it is, but I mean, when you look at a mortgage application, it can be overwhelming. And if you need help, get someone to help you.
Thank you, Karl. Right, now still to come on Ireland M. Are you struggling getting your children back into